We are here today with Mr. Ronnie Reno, the famous son of the famous banjo player Don Reno of Reno and Smiley. Now, what year was your daddy born, and where was he born?
Dad was born in 1926, and he was actually born in. I think Dad was born in Union. I'm in Buffalo, South Carolina, Union, Buffalo, in that same area.
Okay.
I think that's where it was. So many different times he told everybody from North Carolina, because my grandmother and grandfather came down to visit down there in South Carolina. They were living in Nashville.
Okay.
And she was pregnant with Dad and had him while she was down there. So he claimed them both.
There you
North
go.
Carolina and South Carolina.
Well, that's good. Now, what do you know when your dad started playing the banjo, and what was his influence, for starting to play the banjo?
Well, I guess the influence on the banjo was Snuffy Jenkins. He really liked Snuffy's. He saw Snuffy play, I guess. And of course, Arthur Smith was a fine tenor banjo player, and Dad started out, I guess, playing guitar with Arthur many years ago. He was with Arthur when he was very young, in his teens.
Oh wow!
Yeah, when they recorded Guitar Boogie, Arthur's first version of Guitar Boogie, it was Dad and Arthur and a bass player.
Wow!
It was just the three of them, and then they went back and pulled it back out, and it became a big hit. But that was, I think Dad was maybe 14, 15 years old when he did that with Arthur.
Wow!
And so, as the years went by, he never spoke a lot about when he did this, when he did that, because he was doing so many different things.
Yeah.
So it's I'd have to check and make sure of when he actually started playing them. But I know he made his first banjo and used maybe even some screen wire off of a screened-in porch door to make some of the strings.
My goodness.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow!
Sure did. So he had to be extremely young when he really heard it, I guess.
Now, did your dad ever move to Nashville?
Yeah, he moved to Nashville in the late 40s when he was with Bill Monroe.
Okay.
We lived here. This would have been in 48 and 49, I guess. I was maybe a year old. I was born in 47. So,
Oh.
And my sister was born in 46. So we actually moved here, and when Dad was with Bill for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, something like that, somewhere in that area.
Okay. And so was he living here in the Nashville area when he went to heaven?
No.
No?
No, when Dad passed, he was actually in Lynchburg, Virginia. He had
Really?
moved back to Virginia.
Well,
Yeah, and he got sick, but he actually passed in Charlottesville.
okay.
He was up at the hospital there in Charlottesville.
All right, and what year was that?
Been in 1984.
Okay. Now, how did your dad end up with Smiley? How did Reno and Smiley come about?
Well, they were actually played together with the great fiddle player there in Roanoke. Oh, wait a minute, and I'll tell you here in a minute. Every once in a while I have these
McGay.
No, it wasn't Mac. This was long before. This is the guy that played with Roy Acuff, and one of the first ones to do the Orange Blossom Special. And he was
Chevy or Hattie Foster?
no.
None of them.
No, this was wait a
I'm
minute.
throwing you worse.
I'll think about it here, and before this interview's over, I'll get back with you on that. But that's where they all met in Roanoke, Virginia, in the early '50s, I guess, and played. So anyway, I think that's when Dad met Red.
Hey,
Hey, and you can jump on in. Okay. So we've got Don Reno's
Hey,
grandson, which
Oh,
is
good.
Ronnie's son, Justin Reno. Dr. Justin Reno has just come in and
Hey,
joined us.
Justin.
So This.
Come on
this is
over, pull you a chair.
Hey, grab that piano bench or something.
There's
Go
a
ahead
chair
first.
over there under that desk.
Yeah, might be-
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if you want to pull up and get right in the middle, that would be
Yeah.
Come on in here.
All
Come
right.
on in, the water's fine. It's not,
Yeah.
not very deep in here.
And that, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna lean this back just a teeny bit. Let's see if I can do it without messing.
He is taller than I am.
Hold on one second. Now, and my next question is, what's some of your earliest memories of music in your house, and what do you have any?
Yeah, the earliest memories, I guess, would be years ago. I was learning to sing, I guess, and doing little stuff, and so Red Smiley was actually playing with. Wait a minute, I'll tell you here in a minute. Cousin Wilbur. They had a TV show over in Nashville, North Carolina, and Red was over there playing with him. And they came through Union and they would do a talent contest, you know, and if you entered the talent contest and won, well then you got a bag of flour and you got to appear on Cousin Wilbur's TV show out of Asheville. So I won. But Red played guitar with me, and we did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
And you sang it.
I sang it. Yeah.
And approximately how old do you think?
Probably
you were?
5, something like 5 or 6, somewhere in that area.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they did it at the high school there in Union.
That is-
Red sat and played guitar with me, you know,
That's
and I
so
stood
cool.
there and sung. So anyway, I think I might have had I think it might have been one of them deals where it wasn't you can be a star, but I think I might have already won it just by showing up.
Well, you were a mighty cute little fella.
Yeah, I was a blonde-haired guy. You bet.
Yes, you were.
So had your dad ever played with Red up to that point, or were you the first?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, they
he
had
did-
played
they had played. Okay.
Yeah.
So
This
he
would have
was
been
familiar with you
this
then.
would have been in like 53 maybe, and of course they'd already been recording records.
Oh,
I love it. Now, your daddy had such a unique banjo style. Where do you think that came from, and how would you describe it? Like, what makes it stand out so?
I think it was the big band era, and the fact that Dad was able to take the single picking and basically play note for note instead of a roll through it. I would say that was actually play the melody, you know, note for note with a set of picks on.
Very
And
good.
I think that's where a lot of the style came from.
And that takes us to my first question a while ago, was if your daddy were here today, what would he probably want to play? And your answer was?
I think probably Limehouse Blues. Or
Okay,
something.
and why is that? Tell the story.
Big band. It was a big band section, and you know he loved that stuff. Well, Arthur Smith loved it, and Arthur sort of arranged his material around those kind of things because he had the accordion, and you know, of course, Arthur was such a school musician, and they taught Dad to read music. Dad could read from Arthur, learning from Arthur. So they did the arrangements on all this stuff. And I'd say that's where that came from.
Well, very good. Now, how did your dad and Red Smiley complement each other musically and personally?
Oh, I'd say musically, Red had a beautiful baritone voice, and at that time, Dad had a very clear high tenor voice.
yes, sir.
And of course, they had the same, I think, the same vision of music. They could see the vision of where they wanted to go with their music, and they were all so talented. I mean, they could do any kind of music, whether it was gospel, whether it was country, whether it was bluegrass. It wasn't bluegrass when they first started, it was just hillbilly. You know, just hillbilly music. I don't think bluegrass was even penned until what, early 60s maybe? Or when they started doing the college things, they sort of penned the name bluegrass because of being where Bill was from, Kentucky, and that's what he named his band, Bluegrass Boys. So. But they were rounded, so rounded in the whole entertainment, as far as comedy, as far as MC work. They worked well together as far as throwing it back and forth.
And the first cross dressers in Bluegrass.
I agree. Chicken and Pansy Hot Rod.
That was funny. But nobody ever sees it.
Oh yeah, well, we'll show a picture of it.
Save a little bit.
Okay.
We'll save it.
Hey, boy, I'll tell you.
And you get your part right.
That's right. If there's anything I hate is to hear a sour note on the end of a song or anything. Now, don't you start until I tell you to start now, because this could be started. I can put you in lights, Pansy. I can see you now. I can see you now on them big shows, you know.
Yeah, I can.
Old Chicken with you, too. I can see us both there, you know. So let's do it right. Hit it. No lamb, I'll say chicken butt and Johnny Hammer. I can make it a big thing, the chicken I've ever seen. Hey, oh, hey, you're the one for me.
How old were you when you started officially playing with his band?
Oh, I'll shoot. Well, officially, I was actually in 1956, I guess, when in Richmond, Virginia, in the Old Dominion Barn Dance. But I was just singing on Saturday night with them, and so I didn't actually start getting to travel with them until I learned how to play the mandolin.
Okay.
And learned how to play some rhythm. Just started out playing rhythm because they didn't have a mandolin player. And then it evolved into, me learning more and being more of a asset. And learning how to keep my mouth shut. That was part of it.
Yeah. And so approximately how old were you?
It was about 9. Isn't that right?
Well, I'd say maybe 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that area. In 56, I would have been 1956, I would have been 9.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's right, somewhere in that area.
Now, what's one of the biggest things that you think that your daddy would say that he ever did, in his career? What do you think would be like one of the
So
something
many.
that really stand out?
They did a bunch of stuff. I don't think they pinned it by how much success they had here and how much success there. It was connecting with the audience every time. And I'd say that's what he considered his biggest success, was the fact that if you went and seen one of their shows, you wanted to come back and see another one.
Well, I know when you were showing their old shows on your show,
Mm-hmm.
I just absolutely fell in love with it. Is there any way that we can see any of those now?
I have them.
Is it on the internet anywhere?
Oh, it's all over the internet.
Is it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all
Because I
over
know
the
some
internet.
of the jam campers will probably.
Yeah, I used a lot of them on my TV show on
You
Reno's
did.
Old Time Music Festival, and of course they're out there on YouTube and Facebook every which way now.
Now, are there any lesser known songs of Reno and Smiley that you wish that more people knew about or would play? And I know, like you mentioned Limehouse Blues. I'm so thankful Justin is the one who got me playing Limehouse Blues, and I just absolutely love that song.
You know what's funny about it, and Justin and I mentioned it the other day, was the evolution of these songs, because the song doesn't know when it was written. It just knows when it was performed. And so now they're coming back around with a lot of Dad's country boy rock and roll with little
Wyatt.
Yeah.
Wyatt Ellis.
Yeah, and there's other things that are coming back around. I'm hearing, I know you're married by different people on Sirius Satellite now, and things like that. And so it's just the evolution of their material. I'm amazed sometimes. I said, "Oh, really? Did they record that?" Which they did, and you forget about it. But he had such a well of great songs that it'll be here long after we're all past and gone.
It's the same human struggles
It
over
is.
and over again.
It is.
As a matter of fact, Country Boy Rock and Roll might be one of those we might work with some of them on possibly. That would definitely be maybe a low hanging fruit. Now, do you have any funny or memorable stories. I don't care if it's related to being with, traveling with with the Reno and Smiley, or anything you could come up with.
My gosh.
Or even a home something, just something that's.
Well,
just
Dad was
Reno.
really had a great sense of humor, and he loved to pull pranks on everybody, this, that, and the other. And well, he done so much stuff. I'm trying to think about some of this stuff real fast, but as right now, just some of the stuff that happened to us, it was there's funny stuff at the time, but then you move along with it, and so. I'll come up with something here shortly.
Okay. Now, your dad really influenced a lot of banjo pickers. Is there anybody in particular, other than Derwin Henson right here,
Well,
that you can think of that he may have influenced that you can?
Well, a lot of them, he influenced a lot of musicians and inspired a lot of musicians that actually couldn't play everything that he did, but just watching it performed was enough inspiration to get them into the double timing, the single string picking, he always used to do the backup work where he'd put his hand on the bridge and just do downstrokes. Well, that came from a guitar. That's the way a guitar would have done it. And so he figured out, well, if I mute this banjo bridge, I can get a lot of the same tone out of it. Or the same effect.
Right.
And so there's so many of his little things that he came up with that basically people would see him doing it and it would really influence them, on the banjo. And so all your younger pickers at that time that was watching him play, they were very much influenced with him.
Okay, now I've got two stories I want you to tell. One story is the one about when Arthur Smith and your dad were working on
Feudin Banjos.
Feudin Banjos.
Sure.
And then the other one I want you to tell is related to you and Conway Twitty. So start off with the with Don Reno and Feudin Banjos and Arthur Smith.
Yeah, well, that was Dad and Red was getting ready to go tour together full time. This would have been back in the mid 50s, early 50s, maybe 54, 55. And so Dad was actually working with Arthur in Charlotte, and so Arthur had his blessings, and Arthur said, well, we got this one last session, and so Dad said, won't you own it, Don? And so Dad went in, and so they sit there and recorded Feudin Banjos is what they called it at the time. And of course, Dad ended up writing half of the song. He wrote the part about, where you went into the triple part with the banjo. And so Arthur said, well, now, Don, he said, you want your name on this song here? He said, no, he said, just pay me an extra session, Arthur. He said, that'd be fine and dandy. And that pay me an extra session cost him about $1.5 million. So anyway, but later they, when they sued and claimed it was a public domain, which it wasn't, and they ended up going up to Supreme Court in New York, and they actually went up there and played the song the way they recorded it. Dad and Arthur did.
To the New York Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's how they won the case.
Wow.
That's how they won the case.
They said we're going to recreate 1954. And
Exactly.
Don played the 5 and Arthur played the 4. And
Right, and they sat there and played it for the judge.
that's so cool. I just think that is so cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is cool. Okay, now the next one is one of my very favorite bluegrass songs is Boogie Grass Band, and I imagine some of the jam campers probably maybe have never even heard of that song, so hopefully we'll be able to do that for them.
Yeah.
But no one can do it the way that you and
Any of
Justin
these
do it.
Renos do it.
That's right. But tell us the story about how that came to be and whenever what was
Carlton
it?
Haynes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I had written this song, and Carlton came to town, and of course he was booking Conway a lot and writing stuff and doing all this stuff with Conway and every other big artist in Nashville, because he had all those Coliseum shows he was doing. And so I sang it to Carlton, and he said, Carlton said, now Ronnie, he said, come on, he said, I'm getting ready to go see Conway. He said, we just have you sing it for him. And I said, well, sure, let's go. I had known Conway. He was a friend of mine because we toured together a lot when I was with the Osborne Brothers, and we became big buddies and friends. Well, everybody was friends back in them days. And so I said, sure. So we went over there, and I'm sitting there with Carlton in Conway's office, and we're talking to Conway, and Carlton said, Ronnie, he said, sing that song you wrote, you sang for me earlier today. He said, now, of course, Conway, he said, he don't want you to record this. He said, because he wants it to do it himself. He said he wants to have a big record on it. And so he said, go ahead and sing it. So I sang Boogie Grass Band for Conway. And Conway said, I love that. He said, I can hear myself doing that. He said, Ronnie, if you ever decide you don't want to record that, he said, I'll do it. And he said, I'll give you a single record on that. I said, well, man, I appreciate that. I said, well, right now, I think I'm going to go ahead and record that. And so we left, and I got to thinking about that. And so the next day, I went over to Conway's, and I said, hey, Conway.
On second thought.
I hate you, man. But anyway, so and then he recorded it, and he was true to his word. It was a single on Conway.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Yeah, I actually taught him how to do the yodel.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but how about grabbing your guitar and doing Boogie Grass Band?
Oh,
Would you
we
mind?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you got we can have we got another guitar here. If Derwin wants to play one, we can do anything.
You know, Ronnie might want to join in there and do that.
Well, now I'm gonna have to leave in about
Oh,
10
right.
minutes.
We're at 4 minutes away. From
Well,
1:30,
I
so-
will
Let's do
stretch
it.
it into another 5.
But,
You want a guitar, Dad?
Sure.
There you go.
You always have to have a pick around.
Yeah.
Oh, and I tell you what, while you guys are tuning, tell all of our
Tuning.
folks.
Well, I stay in tune.
Oh, okay. Well,
No,
tell,
I don't.
No, you don't. That pick. You got.
Oh, I lied.
okay. So you played with Reno and Smiley, and you played with the Osborne Brothers, and with Merle Haggard, and who all else have you? And of course with Ronnie Reno. But
Well,
who all else have you? Worked with?
After Merle left, went back and worked some more with Dad for a while, and then, of
Okay.
course I was doing my own thing. So when Dad passed, my brothers and I got together as the Reno Brothers. And then after they decided they wanted to play more progressive music, I went with just my band.
Well, I tell you what, we sure loved your TV show. I wish that you were still doing that.
Well, thank you.
That was, oh man, that was such a good show.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed doing it. I think as the time goes by, it'll hopefully stand the test of time.
Is it anywhere in syndication? Is anybody doing it? You know, like playing the repeats of it? Do you know?
We're doing some. The internet's full of sort of clips
Uh-huh.
of it. There's some on Country Road TV of full shows, but as he, it's right now it's in retirement, like I am.